number one movie of 1983. Can anybody guess what the number one movie of 1983 in terms of gross?
Return of the Jedi.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, probably Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. You guys are correct. Absolutely. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah,
You can-
John, go ahead.
John,
John, you go ahead.
Ewoks.
You take
you
it's
take
your
the-
year.
it's
so-
your year. Take the reins. Lead us on the
Ewoks.
journey. Ewoks.
Little furry pieces of shit. Oh man, the premise was I mean, it's basically A New Hope all over again.
Yeah.
It
does kind of
and-
end the same way.
So like I hadn't like sat down and watched the Star Wars trilogy like initially until like a few years ago. Boba Fett, was like this really badass guy. But when that part came on where he died, I thought that was hilarious. It was really lame for such
absolutely.
a strong character. No, I can't remember exactly because Han said
Han was
Boba
blind.
Fett, where?
Yeah.
And then he turns around and hits him with like this pole on accident. But I don't
Yeah.
remember if who told him. Was it like it was
Chewie.
it R2 or C3? Was Chewie?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
right?
actually,
yeah. Does he understand? Yeah.
There's another thing from that too, right? Because he didn't. They did another thing where they failed in production because he says Boba Fett twice.
Really, for me, one of the worst part about that scene was when Han is falling, but his feet get caught. He's like dangling on the tops of his feet.
Yeah.
Chewie's hanging on to his
Oh, yeah.
ankles, and I just thought this. So he's like, "Aim a little higher. Are you shooting? Aim higher." And he shoots the Sarlacc, saves Lando and all that. But the third one,
Yes.
it really does. It has a lot of its moments. There's some rehashed stuff from the first movie again, and not only that, it gets one thing to you do it once. Okay, you've done it twice. Never do that again. And then you've got The Force Awakens. Which is kind of like, yeah, we did it again. People are waiting for 3 years to see what happens to Han Solo. Everyone's under the impression that he could be dead or who knows what's going on. He's frozen in carbonite. Luke returns to see Yoda to continue his training, and Yoda dies and lets him know that Leia's his sister.
Anonymous. Leia's my sister. Your insight serves you well.
Which was not originally in the script. It was, or not necessarily in the script, in the story, that the idea was that Luke and Leia were going to get together. They weren't related, but obviously fans liked Han and Leia as a couple more than Luke and Leia. And so they decided to, let's make them brother and sister. And now they're twins or something along those lines. Okay. So they've added more to it retroactively, which doesn't help your story because it leaves lots of gaping holes and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of George Lucas backpedaling.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much of it.
There's that scene where after Luke finds out that Leia's his sister, and he goes to the Ewoks decide not to eat them, and they're on that bridge area, and he's like, "Do you remember your mother?"
Do you remember your mother? Your real mother?
Just a little bit. She died when I was very young.
And then obviously in Revenge of the Sith, very young is quite an understatement. It's literally out the womb. What do you remember about your mother? Oh, not a lot. What the fuck do you remember? Straight out the womb when she's dead. That's it. What do you? It doesn't. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And so then Han goes up and he says, "What is it?" You can tell Luke, all that stuff. And at the end of the movie, he's like, "If you love him, don't you?" Well, yeah, of course. Like, all right, I'll stay out of the way. No, it's not like that. He's my brother. He's like, "Your brother?" And that face he makes, it makes you wonder: is he thinking like, is he so shocked that he's his brother, or that I've seen you peck him on the lips and probably give a little tongue to your brother in like episode 2 there, lady. My favorite comedic line in the entire trilogy is in Return of the Jedi when they all get caught in the net because Chewie finds the meat and the Ewoks trap him, and Luke can't reach his lightsaber.
Han, can you reach my lightsaber?
Just use the Force, Luke.
Yeah.
Use the Force, man. All the Ewoks mistake C-3PO. They think he's a god.
Oh, my head.
Oh my goodness.
Han is like, okay, well, Your Excellency or whatever. He says, use your godliness to get us out of this mess. And C-3PO says, I couldn't do it. Impersonating a deity would be against my programming.
Yeah.
And that face that Han Solo makes is so, oh God, that whole just cracks me up. It's so funny. I know it's coming, but it still makes me laugh every time.
Harrison Ford's great, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The fight scene between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker at the end. Fantastic fight scene. The music, the epic score that's playing is he just screams because he's going to go after Leia and all that stuff. And, you know, it's this tense moment that's 6 years in the making, and it's all culminating to this one fight. And it's all going over very well. For me, there is this one little part where I noticed, I even have brought this up with people and they've tried to defend it, but it's true. It's not necessarily anyone's fault. It isn't 1983, but when they're fighting and it's Darth Vader, you know, and Luke starts going crazy on him, he just falls over. There's no reason for him to fall at all. It's like he just takes a step and he's like an actor needs to meet their spot. He met his spot and went down to one knee. And then he keeps hammering and then he cuts off his hand.
Yep. Okay, time to get on my knee now.
Right? What? Yeah, exactly.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, and then it's like, good, you know, and then he decides, like, I'll never join you. You're wrong. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me, you know. It's so good. And then he's like, okay, Jedi, you will die, you know, and he shocks him. No, father, please. You know, that's my favorite. Where, like, Darth Vader, it's so fucking terrible because it's in the Blu-ray. It was perfectly fine. I think they kind of guess that Darth Vader becomes less and less okay with this when he picks up the Emperor and chucks him down a vent or whatever the hell it is, you know. They don't need to add the no. You know, it's not necessary. We know that it's coming. You know, how do you put that in there and think this is better? You know, there was some confusion. What was he upset with him? I don't get it. Why would he chuck him down to his death? Go on.
Well, they did some George Lucas backpedaling once again.
My thing that always cracked me up is in that fight, you know, when Vader finally decides to get rid of Palpatine, like he picks him up and the dude doesn't fight him. He's just standing up there going, you know, like like he doesn't even squirm. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna hold still for you. You could just chuck me. You know what I mean?
He becomes
He's
like a
"Ooh,
log.
this is fun.
Yeah, right. He was
Like
way
he
more
picks up a
flexible against,
mannequin.
right? Way more flexible against Yoda in Revenge of the Sith. He's flipping around. He's doing all this crazy shit. How many years? 15, 20 years later, he can still move around. Get the hell out of here. It's just like, oh no, like I didn't see that move coming. You know, oh, it's just
Sitting on that chair and barking things like took a lot out of him. So, you know.
Yeah, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. It was a good movie. It was a good ending to the series. It's a good thing they never made anything else. They just left it alone. It's a perfect,
Yep.
you know, good to go.